thinking that too.
Well, it's doing its thing with the streaming thing. Got it. I'm recording. Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly introduce it again. This is the Law of Attraction Book Club, and currently we're reading through The Secrets. We're on chapter 2, and this chapter is called The Secret Made Simple. And Tammy is going to read a portion from 27 to 28, and we're going to discuss it. So just read the... It should be in italics.
Yeah, so just read the italic part? Okay. Dr. Joe Vitale, everything that surrounds you right now in your life, including the things you're complaining about, you've attracted. Now, I know at first blush, that's going to be something that you hate to hear. You're going to immediately say, I didn't attract the car accident. I didn't attract this particular client who gives me a hard time. I didn't particularly attract this debt. And I'm here to be a little bit in your face and say, yes, you did it. This is one of the hardest concepts to get. But once you've accepted it, it's life transforming.
Okay, who fucking cringed at that? I did.
I did too. I felt it.
Well, I actually thought of all the people that would actually say that, because obviously I've done a lot of the spirituality and been involved in this, so I get the concept now. But it just brought me people in my head that I'm like, yeah, they would totally say this. I know a friend of mine who's like, oh, I'm not into manifestation, and I'm just like,
that's why I read it the way I did. I put the emphasis.
Yeah.
Is the person not into gravity either?
Right?
Gravity. I don't know.
The thing is, if this was my first time hearing this concept, I would have been like, the fuck are you talking about? I didn't ask for this debt. I didn't ask to be single living in a room. I didn't ask for any of this shit.
Well, we didn't ask consciously. We subconsciously brought it into our lives because, we have, in a way, we have more control over life than we think we do. But because we're, it's like we don't want to take responsibility for our lives, and most of the things are subconscious, so we don't know our thoughts and beliefs.
Can I just? It should be page 27. Have you got the book in front of you?
Yeah, I'm front on my screen.
Does it show up on your screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. Why am I apologizing? Oh, I gotta stop it. I say sorry for everything.
Stop it, Liv. Stop it. Let's stop it.
What? So you're telling me I manifested a Cooper at 10 o'clock in the morning? I know it's 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock for you tomorrow, isn't it, Tabby?
Yes, I'm excited.
I am excited. I seriously went in there and changed the times.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
Nothing before 1 o'clock my time.
Yeah, because anything after anything from 6 on my time, I'm good. 4 is a little early, but it is what it is.
Anything else we want to say to this, or we want to read something else out?
Yeah, I'm just glad I've gotten this concept. I get what.
Yeah, I like the concept as well.
So how do you guys apply it into your lives then?
I've been trying to think more positively about things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so broke. All I can do is pay my rent. And now I'm like, you know what? At least I can pay my rent. I have food in the fridge. I love having this bill because it means I'm alive, and now I'll just get the cash flow to pay it and help somebody else out. by paying that bill, like that's the kind of way I'm trying to look at things now. So I'm giving myself a mindset shift because of this concept.
Brilliant.
Also, I think it just shows how important it is to focus on what you want. Although it's difficult when you're in it, isn't it? In it. I'm so chavvy now.
Mhm.
No, you're not in it.
In it.
Well, I mean, it's when you're deep in the mud or whatever metaphor you want to put yourself in.
Yeah.
There's just one. I know we said about it last week, with Abraham. They don't tend to word it like that. They tend to word it like about yes, focusing on what you want, but how you can't get there from there. Whereas this concept almost is like a little bit, let's beat people. What I mean is, you're more likely to beat yourself up mentally. You're more likely, I'm not saying people should, but you're more likely to beat yourself up when you start like, oh my God, it's my fault. Whereas with Abraham, they're like, it's okay. Even if you did manifest something you don't want, it's okay.
Mm.
Yeah, because now you can work towards what you do want because you know what works you know what doesn't work because you're getting the wrong stuff. So you had to shift your mindset, I think, and go at it a different angle. I think that's what it means, right?
And as Abraham says, it takes 17 seconds to start your thought process on a better frequency. Right.
Do you want me to finish reading that page?
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to finish reading that page. But I
Okay.
assume it only goes down to, like, what I mean.
I'll go down to Bob Doyle.
Yeah, as far as Bob Doyle.
Okay. Often when people first hear this part of The Secret, they recall events in history where masses of lives were lost, and they find it incomprehensible that so many people could have attracted themselves to this event or to the event. By the law of attraction, they had to be on the same frequency as the event. It doesn't necessarily mean they thought of that exact event, but the frequency of their thoughts matched the frequency of the event. If people believe they can be in the wrong place at the wrong time and they have no control over outside circumstances, these thoughts of fear, separation, and powerlessness, if persistent, can attract them to being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You have a choice right now. You want to believe that it's the luck of the draw and bad things can happen to you at any time? Do you want to believe that you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time? That you have no control over circumstances? Or do you want to believe and know that your life experience is in your hands and that only all good can come into your life because that is the way you think? You have a choice, and whatever you choose to think will become your life experience. Nothing can come into your experience unless you summon it through persistent thoughts. Bob Doyle.
Yeah, it says Bob Doyle is like what I was just saying about most of us attract by default.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we manifest 24/7.
That's how
I actually went on one of his lives. He knows my name. God, sorry.
Sorry. Did you say we're manifesting 24/7?
Yes, we are. So every thought we have, we're manifesting, right? So every thought becomes reality. So everything we're thinking, manifests. But in a way, obviously, with Abraham Hicks, it's like, it's not like it happened. You don't say, I want a car, and then suddenly it appears in your living room, So it does take some time. So the stronger the emotion towards that is, attached to the thought, the stronger, and through persistence, it will then come into fruition. So like sometimes we have a bad thought, we don't have to like blame ourselves for it, because you can have a negative thought and not be attached to it. So you can observe it. So then you're not giving that emotional attachment to it. So then it won't actually it won't be like it's going to happen, So we do That's why I think the universe tests us as well to see if we are consistent and if it's something we actually do want. So sometimes you might say, oh, I want a new pen, but then like 3 hours later it's like you don't care about this pen, so it's like
Yeah.
so it's not
Okay.
so the universe isn't going. Imagine like everything you thought you would get, like that would have, you'd have a full house of things. So
Well, I'd have a house.
there we go.
I guess manifesting a house takes a little longer.
Well, I mean, there is no time limit. Like time,
Well,
yeah.
sorry, I mean, this is something that's probably going to be talked about more in the book, but like, the only reason why there's a time limit on a house is because we put that time limit on. I think like what we were saying last week, if we say soon on something, it means never. So it's like, all right, I'm going to get my house soon, or I'm going to get the money soon. The universe doesn't know. And also I think as well, it's about anybody being ready and actually wanting it too. Because sometimes we can think we want something. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. I want this house. But then you realise deep down you don't want it.
Yeah. No, this is the house I've been wanting for over 20 years. It's just I was in the wrong relationships, I think. I was in the wrong parts of my life at the time. And so I wasn't really focusing on it because in my mind, until I started learning about manifestation, in my mind, it's like, well, I'm never going to have the money for that. I'm never going to get that. Like, whatever, right? But since my mind, like I'm doing the mind shift thing and started to manifest yesterday, even these strangest little things happened. I thought of one lady who she's in AA, but I hadn't seen her in a while. And I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of something. So after I'm done, I'll send her a message and see if she's okay and how she's doing. So when I was done what I was doing, I went on Facebook and what pops up? A status from her saying what she's been up to last week.
Yay!
And I'm like,
Wow.
and then I thought about another lady. Later I was doing something and something about yoga happened. And I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to this friend in forever. I don't even think she's on my friends list. So I made a point to finish what I was doing and go and search her and add her as a friend. So when I went on Facebook and I scrolled and it showed up in the comments in the section with the people you may know. And we don't even have friends in common.
Nice.
Jesus.
And that's only 2 things yesterday. There was about 5 of them that happened.
Woo!
2 with people and 3 with physical things. I was joking with one of the girls from AA who've become really good friends with me. And she was like, oh, I got to get some lunch because I posted my lunch anyway. And she goes, oh, that looks good. So then I sent her the one of the Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa. And they have the bugs, right? And they go simple yet satisfying. So I sent her that sticker thing and she called me and I'm like, well, and she's just laughing. I said, what's so funny? She said, my son literally just came home from his dad's with a plushie of Timon.
No way.
And I sent her that sticker, like just after he walked in the door, she goes, that was just weird. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. That's the frequency I'm getting on.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I just wanted to share that because it was like, really? So I was having fun with it then.
I have a little story. I went on a walk, and me and my friend were deciding where we want to go. And all I said is, I want an adventure. Let's make this an adventurous walk, right? So we go walking, and then at some point, like there's this, like how you have houses, but then you kind of have a gate in front of it, like it's like gated, and it said like Adventure Quay or something, or Bay, Adventure Bay. And I'm just like, look at this.
So
and then we went for,
that's amazing, and that's what I mean. Since I started this book club with Sarah, like since I've joined, like last week was my first one, but since then I started taking note of the little things and seeing like, okay, but yesterday it was just like boom, boom, boom throughout the day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, secret.
Nice.
So, that's my story. I'm done talking. We can carry on now that I'm done talking.
Yeah, so sometimes like it can be like little things like that. As I said, sometimes I don't know where I want to go or what I want. So I just say I want to feel this, or I want to like what I remember one day I said, today I want to be playful. And then later I was like joking around with my friend and like unintentionally, you know, and my friend's like, you're playful today. And I'm just like, what?
Well, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And it doesn't have to be, you know, something like physical. It can be a feeling. It can be, you know, you can just ask for something and it comes up.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, I want to connect with water. And then something along, so like you go to the beach or something, or I don't know, you see an image, and it doesn't have to be like specifically like, I want this specific pen. It could just be vague as well.
Well, this happened not too long ago. I was thinking tomorrow my medications get delivered. And for some reason, they're a quarter, like 25 cents. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I don't have change. I got to ask my friend if she's got a quarter tonight so I have it when they come to the door. So I opened my desk drawer to get a highlighter. It was a quarter.
Yay.
I never have change, ever. So I'm like, okay, I'm starting with a quarter. Eventually I'll get to the house.
Do you know something that happened to me? I remember, I don't know if you ever see it. Sometimes a coach or whoever will post a post on Facebook and say about I dare you, use the word I dare you, but I dare you to manifest something in 48 hours. And I remember thinking like, oh, I'm gonna manifest broken glass, right? Because I thought it sounds so random. Like, how would you find broken glass? And I actually I can't remember exactly what happened. I've still got the glass now, but I found it in the road. You know, I bent down probably to pick up Mia or something. She was little, and I found the glass.
Nice.
It was like, oh my god, that's a good way to. Right, I don't mean it in a negative way to test the universe, but you know, we are human, even though we're spirit having a human experience. It's still good to test them because otherwise, you know, so you can trust. So I think it's good to sort of test it in a way that, like, I want to manifest something so random that it only shows that I've manifested it by it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just funny that I've been noticing these things this week. Order today was funny. It's the first physical thing I've actually manifested that I'm aware of, that I've been, you know what I mean? Like I've probably manifested physical things before, but this one was just funny because I wasn't even looking for it, but I was thinking that I had to get a quarter for tomorrow. And there it was right before.
Awesome. What else do we want to read?
I was thinking, you know, if we read what Marcy says on 29.
29.
Marcy, yeah.
Marcy Shimoff.
Or unless because I like this conversation where they talk about feelings, and I know they're still talking about feelings in there. Unless you want to skip it and go.
Now we'll talk about feelings, yeah.
Yeah, because that connects a lot.
Is it okay if I read that?
Yeah.
Marcy Shimoff. It's impossible to monitor every thought we have. Researchers tell us we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. Can you imagine how exhausted you'd feel trying to control all 60,000 of these thoughts? Fortunately, there's an easier way, and that's our feelings. Our feelings let us know what we're thinking. The importance of feelings cannot be overstated. Your feelings are your greatest tool to help create your life. Your thoughts are the primary cause of everything. Everything else you see and experience in this world is effect, and that includes your feelings. The cause is always your thoughts. Do you know, I kind of loosely disagree with that, because I've actually been told it's the other way around. That your thoughts come from your emotions.
Yeah. That's an interesting concept.
Well, I think originally it's always the thought, but sometimes you don't know what the thought is, so you have the feeling, and then once you have the feeling, you can then identify the thought.
Interesting.
Well, I know, because when you're feeling happy, you don't have the negative thoughts. It's so it's a bit. It's such a rare. That's what I mean.
I know, that's what I'm trying to make sense of. I'm trying to. Sorry, that's why I'm quiet. I'm like,
if you're feeling amazing, and like I don't know, someone's in a car and they splash you with water, you know what I mean? If you're feeling amazing, you just be, oh, that's funny. Whereas if you're in a shit mood and someone splashes you with water in a car, I'm sure it's happened to everyone. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, why weren't they looking?
that's true too. Yeah, there's different ways to look at that. That's interesting. I'm going to have to delve more into that. It's funny because the things we talk about in the book club, I what's the word? I pay more attention to that aspect now for the rest of the week. Like last week, it was I wrote the letter to the universe. I've been writing in my journal as if I have the things I want on my vision board. So I've been doing that this week. And then now yesterday, I just noticed all these little things that happen, just boom, poof, poof, poof. Right? So this week, I'm going to have to try to figure out which comes first, the feelings or the
no, if you look into James Ray, he's actually one of the people in The Secret. He's the one that says the emotions come first.
Yeah. But do they?
It does. I don't. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's
that question. Is it like, did the chicken or the egg come first?
Exactly.
Right?
I will.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So this is an interesting one for me to delve into because now I have to test it.
That doesn't really matter if it's the thought or the feeling, as long as you're manifesting, you know, whichever way you want.
I think another reason why I think is, Mia, please, I will do your maths. I'm still. Just let me finish what I'm about to say. No. Kids. Why you don't have your maths then? You'll wait even longer.
Just give me my ketchup with mash. And mash with ketchup.
5 more minutes, and I'll do it. Why you don't have it then? Because I'm in the middle of a conversation.
I'm just hungry.
God bless her. She doesn't realise how stubborn I am. I know you're hungry, but I was in the middle of. Please shut the door. I don't want the cats.
I do not realise how stubborn I am.
I do, but if you carry on like that, please.
I want my food.
I will do it. I will do it now. No, move. I'll do it now. No, if you start watching, oh my god, how embarrassing is this? Like, the YouTube in future are going to know I had an argument with my kid during the book club. Oh my god. Well, it's not an argument, is it? But no, I just think, like, well, it's more, like, I still think, whether it's emotion or whether it's thoughts, it's definitely more vibration, because I think, what I mean is, like, the higher a vibration you are, the more.
I mean, thoughts are vibrations too, right? Thoughts are vibrations too, because everything's vibration.
Yeah. Because what I mean, I also think as well, you can have. Fine, I'm not doing it, Mia. I know, but I want to have this. I'm just gonna like.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Like it's all vibrational, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know if I'm in a great mood, like when I get up in the morning and I'm in a great mood, my thoughts tend to be good. If I get up in the morning and I'm in a pissy mood, I have to actually work on my thoughts into positive, it feels like. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if you're in a good mood and you have what you perhaps call they call it bad thoughts in here, but I don't really like calling it bad. Like it says about good and bad. I don't like calling thoughts or feelings bad because I think
Yeah, I think what
Yeah,
they're doing. Yeah, I think what they're doing in the book is just to make it understandable for most people. But because I
yeah,
think we're a step ahead, we understand that
yeah,
there's
I
no.
know.
Eh?
Sorry. I was going to say when I first read it, I
Yeah.
remember some people saying that, The Secret's a bit of a beginner's guide. And I'd be like, what? Do you know what I mean? Now, a few years on, I'm like, yeah, it's a beginner's guide, Which is nothing wrong with that.
Yes, because everyone's in, most people are in 3D mentality, and 3D mentality is all about polarity. So they're all thinking in terms of good and bad. But because once you like kind of transcend that idea of good and bad and that there's actually no right or wrong, you kind of then start understanding it's more about vibration and energy. And it's like, what vibration do I want to tune into? It's neither good or bad, but like obviously one is more joyous, so you want to feel joy because that feels better than feeling unjoy or like unhappy. So then you choose the vibration. Doesn't mean that happy is better than feeling sad, because being sad is actually good in the sense that feeling sad is good because we are human. We're meant to have the human experience, so we want to feel all the whole range of anger, sadness, grief, but the problem is people blame themselves for feeling it. So when you're in grief, you're like,
So
oh, I
they
shouldn't
continue.
be here. I don't want to be here. I need to be in happy mode. So when you do that, you don't accept yourself and you can't be in your truth. You can't have the human experience to the fullest if you're denying all the feelings. So, and neither feeling is bad. Like even jealousy isn't bad. It's just
Thank
that
you
you
for
have,
saying that.
yeah.
Gaia, I was seeing, because I have jealous feelings and I can't help it. I feel it and I can't help it. And he got mad because he was hitting on this other girl, and I'm like, well, I'm not comfortable with that. And then he got mad and called me toxic and controlling, and I was trying to change him. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, I have a feeling. You said you wanted me to not hold anything back and communicate how I'm feeling. I'm telling you, this is how I'm feeling. I don't feel comfortable with it. And then he's going to go and call me all these things and hasn't spoke to me since. And it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, it takes a lot of like power or emotional intelligence to be like someone saying, I feel uncomfortable in the situation. And you, as the person who's with them, you're like, okay, let's sit in it. But a lot of people take it personally. So they're like, oh, it's because this, or they try to help you by resolving the problem. But sometimes it's not even about resolving the problem. It's just about like acknowledging that you feel like that. Because
and that's all I was doing. That's
but
all I was doing.
Especially in like relationships or people who are close to you, you tend to take it personally because you're somehow emotionally attached to the person. So it's very hard to hold space neutrally for that person. That's why like coaching, you want to coach people that you don't know because it's easier than you don't jump into the pool with them because they've got, their own like problems, and you feel like you don't have to give them advice. You just got to hold that space for them. But if it's like your partner or your family member, it's like it's like instantly you take it so personally. And I catch myself doing that as well with my close friends or family, It's like I don't get a text or something, or a person's not sharing my enthusiasm, and I suddenly think it's me or it's them. And then I'm like, why am I even in this friendship? And you have all these thoughts, and it's like, actually, it's neither, it's everyone's got their own perception of the situation.
Yeah. And the way I've looked at it now, 6 months ago, when this sort of thing happened to me, I went on an 8-day binge. This happened 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard from him, and I don't care because I kept getting these feelings and red flags around him. So when I told him maybe I need, like the night before, I said maybe I just need to be alone for a while until I get, further along in my recovery, or until I'm ready for a relationship, because I'm not ready for a relationship right now. And like I said, 3 weeks ago, and he got mad at me, and the next day he had to do the breaking up, I think. Like he had to make it that he was the man. And when I got out of the car, I was thinking, wait, he just called me toxic and controlling because I have a feeling, yet he's willing to not sit with me on this feeling or talk about it or work through it. Instead, he's quite willing to just throw me away. So when I sat with that after, I was like, oh, well, his loss.
Yeah, I mean, there's different approaches. That's one option to take, you know. There's so many options you could, you know. It's what your gut feeling says. Someone else might have been like, "Oh, don't leave me," you know, I didn't mean it that way. Or someone would have been like, "Please, like, I want to actually have my thoughts. You know, what I'm trying to do is communicate my feelings here. Would you mind like trying to listen to me or something?" Or just walk away. Like, there's so many different options. Neither is good or bad. It's just, you know.
For my peace of mind was to just let it go because he's been doing things like this since October.
Yeah.
Right? And I think he did want me to be like, oh, no, don't leave, you know, I'll change, I won't get jealous. Well, I can't help how I feel and how you bring out certain feelings in the pit of my stomach.
Yeah.
And they're not good. Right? So it's for the best, like things usually are.
Yeah.
Still, it's like, don't call me names when you're the one that needs to grow up. 6 months ago, though, I would not have handled it that way. That just goes to show how much I've grown with all my, like, learning about the mindset and learning about manifestation. Like, those things have really helped me the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that we're doing this. It's a beginner's guide, but I'm not a beginner.
Yeah, it's not meant to be derogatory to anyone. It's just sometimes I don't know his name, but the person from Mind Valley. Do you know Mind Valley, Eva?
Mine sounds from. Oh yes, I do.
Mind
Yeah.
Valley. I forgot the guy's name, but he's one of the ones where he was like, "Oh, the secrets of beginner's guide," and I was like, "What?"
Oh,
It's good though. It sets the foundation,
exactly.
you know.
That's what it is. It's not.
I'm taking notes as we go.
Well, it's all about the foundation. We're discussing this, so it's not. So it's
exactly.
good.
Do you want to read the bit that says Bob Doyle?
Bob Doyle, what page?
The same page.
Oh, okay.
Just underneath it there.
You want me to read?
If you could, please.
Yeah. Bob Doyle. The emotions are an incredible gift that we have to let us know what we're thinking. Your feelings tell you very quickly what you're thinking. Think about when your feelings suddenly took a dive. Maybe when you heard some bad news. That feeling in your stomach or solar plexus was instant. So your feelings are an immediate signal for you to know what you are thinking. You want to become aware of how you're feeling and get in tune with how you're feeling, because it is the fastest way for you to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I've learned to now when I get a feeling or a thought and a feeling, I've also learned how to sit with it instead of instantly reacting.
Yeah.
Because in the past, when I would instantly react, usually I was drunk and the outcome wasn't good. And then when I first started trying to get sober, like 2 years ago, I thought I had to respond to things right away, like instantly. And again, not great outcomes. So learning how to like sit with my thoughts and feelings before reacting has helped me grow too.
I think it's also good to try and get you. Well, I think it is good to sit with it. I just think as well, it's good to then try and raise your vibration even a bit after.
Well, yeah, but that's once you've processed the feelings. So I think you need to acknowledge it and feel it. And then once you've actually felt it, it kind of resides a bit. And so that's when you can once you've understood why you had that feeling, you're able to then replace it or reframe the thought. but don't try to do it when you're denying the feeling, because it's like, oh no, I feel depression. I'm like, no, I have to feel happy now. And it's like, it doesn't help. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling depressed. Interesting. Why do I think I feel like, where's the thought coming through? Oh, it's because this scenario reminds me of my ex. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, what can I do now to move forward? That's how you have to do it.
Yeah, what I mean as well is that, because, you know, some people, and I know I've done it myself, is sometimes you might, what I call wallow in it rather than...
Oh, I do that. Yeah, you just want to sit in it.
I just tell him what you understand. That's what I was trying to get at. The more
you want to sit in it because it's comfortable, because you're used to it, and it's a pattern, it's a habit. So once you have a habit of, like, let's say brushing your teeth the first thing in the morning, you know, you always do it. So when you suddenly feel sad, for example, you're like, oh, I'm used to then starting to think about this scenario, starting to think about this, and then you sit and lie in your bed or cry or something. And it's because it's familiar. But it's actually breaking out of it is harder at the start. But once you do it a few times, it's like, oh, I don't actually have to do this. And you move into something new.
I don't think it discusses it in this book, but in The Power, I think it talks about having like a secret list. Or I don't know if it's a list or a secret where you write down things that make you feel a little bit better. And you, so you know, when you're in that frame of mind where, I don't mean this sort of like spiritual bypassing or anything like that, but I just mean, you know, when you just want to feel a bit better, you go to that list if you can. You know, sometimes you're in such a state, you're like, oh, that list, like, I don't want that list today.
What I did like a day or two ago, I wrote out 3 pages of what I love about myself. And so like I looked back at some of the things I wrote, and I was actually, it made me more happy reading it back than actually when I was writing it. Because then I'm like, oh wow, I came up with this, you know, and it's like, oh, this is nice. So it's like when you write something nice about it and about yourself, and then you come back to it later, you remind yourself, you know.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm making a note now to do that after.
Yeah, so what happened basically, I was telling my friend how I was like, I guess I was kind of, I'm attached to, you know, or like I have a friend and I'm so like, I guess stuck with like some things that I don't like that happen in the friendship, and that, or then I'm overthinking, and I'm like, Eva, stop overthinking about what you don't like about the friendship, start writing about what you do like about the friendship. And then my friend said, no, actually, what do you like about yourself, Eva? Because everything else is a reflection. So I think that was more useful of writing what I actually like about myself rather than trying to like come up with stuff I like about the other person, you know? Because
I actually said that to Tony last week, because like sometimes, you know, when we come from gratitude, it's because we're trying to change something, or we're trying to make ourselves like Wymeers. I love my cats; they're beautiful. But equally, sometimes they're the biggest pain in the ass in my life, right? And when I feel like they're the biggest pain in my life, you know what I mean? If I start trying to find ways I'm grateful for them, I'm almost getting more pissed off. You know what I mean? It doesn't quite work. Whereas if you start thinking, I think sometimes with gratitude, it's about actually focusing on things you are actually genuinely grateful for. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not grateful for my cats, but you know what I mean? If they've just like thrown everything on the floor, standing there and feeling grateful for them, it's just like, nah, I want them to move out. But you know, but then because that's something that Abraham teaches, don't they? They say that if 5 things aren't working out, well, one thing is, focus on the one thing that is.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. I don't think I've ever practiced it, but I have heard it.
Yeah, I just think it's difficult in the moment, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It's not about spiritual. I think sometimes too, it's good to get off the subject a bit, even if you go back to the thing that's, what I mean, say something's really bothering you, and you're almost in that rabbit hole of, oh my God, this is happening to me, I'm fed up with this. You know what I mean? However you would spiral, if you step away from it a bit, do something else and go back to it, and help release the resistance a bit around it, rather than it being, oh, you know, that. You know, that almost
like,
blinkered feelings over
like
it.
I used to think that, okay, if I'm going to clean out my closet and organize it for spring, I thought like what I used to always do would be like, oh God, I don't want to do it because I would do the whole closet in one day,
Yes.
right? But now it's like I'm doing it one tote at a time. And it
Yes.
doesn't seem as overwhelming to me, right?
And do you celebrate yourself every time you do it?
Not every time. Should I?
'Cause I mean, for me, I do, but because I end up thinking, oh, my house is a mess. I need to tidy up. I'll do a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, it's only a little bit. But it's not only a little bit, is it? It's like if I hadn't done it, it would still be.
Well, I just noticed the time. We have another call at 2, but I want to make a coffee first, real quick.
All right, okay.
But that was really good. I can't wait for next week now.
And are you okay? Right, do you want us to finish, like summarize it, and then finish it, or should we carry on, Eva?
I can carry on. I can carry
Yeah, that's
on.
fine. I mean, it is being streamed live to YouTube, and also, I keep saying
Okay.
this, but it's recorded, and so I give people the recordings. I'm sorry. That's why that's part of the reason why I put things on YouTube, because I think, well, at least then, if I've forgotten to, well, it's not so much. Well, I do forget sometimes. Don't mean to forget, but I thought a balancing act is to put it on YouTube.
Exactly.
But,
Well, it was fun. Like, I can't wait to do it again. But I am keeping it on my screen so I can read more later on, and just that way next time when we do it, I have a better idea. And
well, so
That's
right
much
next
better.
week, because next week I can't do because I've asked Tammy. Do you want to still do it next week? And I'm gonna.
oh yeah, sure.
What I'll do is I'll quickly come on. I mean, I don't know if we should do it at 7. I don't know. I'll see what time.
We'll figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out through the week.
7
All right.
on the 7th.
We'll talk to you all shortly or another time.
Yeah, because I'll see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Oh my God. Well, 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah, your time. Okay. I'll talk to you then.
Just 10
Bye for
o'clock.
now.
All right. Sorry, Tammy. Bye.
Bye, Tammy.
Bye for now.
No, it's just I told you, didn't I? I'm doing a module on creative writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got my tutorial next week for this section.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing another conversation now. We're doing it on poetry at the moment.
Yeah. What's it
Right,
for?
so-
It's like a course.
Yeah, well, it's a module. I'm doing a combined STEM degree with the Open University, but
Right.
the way it is, I can pick what I mean is it's not it's still a degree, but it's not you know what I mean, it's not like psychology where it's all psychology based. I can do different bits.
Yeah.
And one of it, I'm doing it, I thought I'd do creative writing because I want to write books and stuff, and I thought it would be a good way to almost do 2 things at a time, as in, you know what I mean, I can be thinking about what books I want to write and learn how to write them, as opposed to trying to write my book and doing a science module, whereas next year it'll be a module for science.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm finding it a bit difficult to do the, you know, you would know this because you did a master's in it, but show and tell.
Show and tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, anyway. Like, I don't know what way you want to read next. Because I was going to say about...
Yeah, well, emotions. We talked about emotions. Our feelings are feedback to us about whether we're on track or not. If you're feeling good, then you're creating a future that's on track with your desires. If you're feeling bad, you're creating a future that's off track with your desires. As you go about your day, the law of attraction is working in every second. That's what I was talking about. It's working 24/7. Everything we think and feel is creating our future. If you're worried or in fear, then you're bringing more of that into your life throughout the day.
Where are you reading? Sorry. I know you're
So
reading.
I just opened at random 32, page
Oh, right,
32.
okay.
Here. The page 34 is interesting. It says you're getting exactly what you're feeling about, not so much what you're thinking about. That's why people tend to spiral if they stab their toe getting out of bed. Their whole day goes like that. They have no clue that a simple shifting of their emotions can change their entire day in life. If you start out having a good day and you're in that particular happy feeling, as long as you don't allow something to change your mood, you're going to continue to attract, by the law of attraction, more situations and people that sustain that happy feeling.
So I am here. It's just me as other thing where she put too much ketchup in her potato and now she doesn't like it.
Right. So yeah, you can begin.
I'm listening to you.
Hang on, page 35. You can
Yes.
begin right now to feel healthy. You can begin to feel prosperous.
Yes.
You can begin to feel the love that's surrounding you, even if it's not there. And what will happen is the universe will correspond to the nature of your song. The universe will correspond to the nature of that inner feeling and manifest because that's the way you feel. So what are you feeling now? Take a few moments to think about how you feel. If you're not feeling as good as you'd like to, focus on feeling your feelings inside and purposefully lift them. So this is what we were talking about earlier, about if you want to change your vibration, your energy, your vibe, you want to acknowledge the feelings first, because if you're denying or blaming or judging yourself, you are basically giving energy to fighting back what you don't want. So you're getting more of fight. You're adding more fight to fight. So if you want to actually change, you need to accept where you are at the moment. So if this is, as we said before, anger, grief, or sadness, or any emotion that doesn't feel so good, you got to acknowledge that it's like, oh, but like acknowledge in the sense that you just observe it. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling sad today. Oh, I'm depressed. I'm feeling a lot of anger today. And once you understand where that, where it comes from, sometimes we block out the thoughts and it's like, okay, I really don't know why I'm feeling this. But we all know how we're feeling deep down. But because I guess our brain is stopping us, or we're actually denying what that thought is. So it's like really just accepting the feeling at least, and then it'll just go away slowly, or it's not affecting you that much anymore. So that's when you can then move forward into something more positive. I don't know how much you caught of that, Sarah, but
I was listening to some of it. It was just otherwise it was like, may I put too much ketchup, and then the mash I made.
Yeah,
I've had to cut that I made for myself too. I was going to eat when I finished.
mm-hmm.
I had to cut it in half again to give her more. So I go, oh.
Yeah, so here,
I was just thinking,
yeah. Hmm?
I don't know about you, every time I hear like Michael Bernard Beckwith speak,
Yeah.
I just want to cry because it's just so beautiful. I find whenever even like hearing him once. Well, you say it was beautiful too. I'm just saying, when he says it in The Secret, just like, it was beautiful.
I'll keep reading. As you focus intensely on your feelings with the intention to lift yourself, you can powerfully elevate them. One way is to close your eyes, focus on your feelings inside, and smile for 1 minute. So, smile for 1 minute, guys. My friend actually did that once at school because I was like an unhappy teenager, and she was like, "Eva, I'm going to time. You're gonna smile for like 5 minutes. Or let timer on." I'm like, okay. It's like, oh my god, like what, like, when you're a teenager and you think life happens to you, not for you, and it's just like you're like, oh, life sucks because of this, and that, and it's just like, oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. And yeah, your thoughts and your feelings create your life. It will always be that way, guaranteed. It's hard to swallow, but when we can begin to open ourselves up to that, the ramifications are awesome. It means that whatever thought has done in your life, it can be undone through a shift in your awareness. So it's like, it's not even about, people. I think where people get stuck is they're like, I need to shift my mindset. I need to shift my mindset to start thinking positively. But actually, it's not, it's about becoming aware.
Yes.
Because,
And also I think as well, the shift, I know we bring Abraham into this, but I think they all tie in together. It's like, because Abraham says, you can't get there from there. What I mean is, if you're in the depths of depression, I mean, come on, how many times, even to ourselves, we've either said to someone to cheer up or it'll be better soon, when they're feeling like that. And it's like, fuck off, how dare you speak to me like that? Let me be in my moment, And I know I've sort of thought that myself.
I used to do that. Try to cheer people up when they were like, when they already had low self-esteem, and I'm like, you're better than this, And they're like, no, I'm not. Yes. And it's just like, they just use that as a confirmation to prove you wrong, And I'm like, why do I even bother?
You're like, all right, then, you can just stay where you are then,
Yeah.
In my head.
But sometimes it's just better to sit with their emotions rather than like tell them that they're good enough, Sometimes it's just better to be like, why do you feel like this? And let them talk.
And also as well, because you don't know what's in people's soul contracts. You don't even know, like maybe they're supposed to feel like that today.
Oh my God, imagine telling someone who's depressed, like, oh, this situation might have been for your better good. I think they'd like want to slap you,
Yes, I've had that before. Well, I mean, no one's actually told me it's for the better good, but like, that's why, like I do think with soul contracts, it can be actually broader than they think. I mean, without looking deep into our soul contracts, we don't know what's written in them. But equally, I don't think we necessarily sign up to every single little thing that's on it. If you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you will have an argument with someone on the 14th of February,
No, I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like that.
I think it's a bit broader than that. I think the reason why we're in situations we don't feel good in is because it's not aligned for us and it's not in our contract. And that's why it doesn't feel good, not because like there's anything bad with us or even if it is bad, even if people are bad, like, you know what I mean, if you were gonna label it as that, it could just be that's part of the whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
Like I've told myself a lot of the times, I just don't want to think too deeply on it sometimes, because I think sometimes then, exactly. Like when you're in a pit of depression or you're feeling bad or whatever, even if you tell yourself, well, this is for the greater good. Okay then.
Yeah. Here's some like examples of how to change or shift into something more positive. So Bob Proctor says, when you're feeling down, did you know that you can change it in an instant? Put on a beautiful piece of music or start singing. That'll change your emotion. Or think of something beautiful. Think of a baby or somebody that you truly love and dwell on it. Really keep that thought in your mind. Block everything out but that thought. I guarantee you'll start to feel good. So I think the best way to like explain this to people are like, oh, I can't just change my emotion instantly, but you can't, because like, let's say you're afraid of spiders and you're like sitting here having normal conversation with someone and you see a spider. Obviously you're going to be like, what? And that's an instant change, right? Fear can instantly change your state. And also if you put, body, if you start like jumping around, you change your state as well. Like you can do it quite easily, actually. Tony Robbins always does it with the state, clapping and like movement.
Well, yeah, because it can work both ways, can't it? I mean, with music, there is some music, if I were right. Also, something I've actually acknowledged is sometimes it can be fun to be dark. I do mean necessarily.
I get that.
You know what I mean? Sometimes if you want to wallow in it, it's fun. Do you know what I mean? You just like put cozy clothes on, listen to some dark
as long as you're doing it consciously. When you do it consciously, it's okay because you've got control over it. But
Yes.
it's that feeling where you're really like self-sabotaging yourself, where it's, you know, unconsciously, where it's not good for you. But I also, like this morning, I was thinking of something sad, and then I allowed to be in it for like 5 minutes, cried a bit, and it's like, okay, I'm done with that now. Just like, you know.
Because I find this with grief, as you know what I mean, for whatever reason, if someone has grief,
Yeah.
I don't mean as in people are pest. Well, I mean, it could mean that, but I just mean, you know, if you've had a loss of some sort,
Yeah.
I find if I don't allow myself to feel it, they'll show up another way in another time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I'll end up being pissed off over the cats, and I'm like, well, why am I so upset with the cats? And
You mean
realise
when you
actually
deny your feelings, they come back in a different situation, you mean?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
This chapter was actually what I said about this list. It says make a list of some secret shifters. That's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? To have up your sleeve. By secret shifters, I mean things that can change your feelings in a snap. It might be beautiful memories, future events, funny moments, nature, a person you love, your favorite music. Then, if you find yourself angry or frustrated or not feeling good, turn to your secret shifters list and focus on one of them. Different things will work for you at different times, so if one doesn't work, go to another. It only takes a minute or two changing your focus to shift yourself and shift your frequency. I do agree with that. It's like even coming on this call today, I was feeling a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But like since we've been having like the conversation about, I probably needed to hear this today, but you know, about feeling good, about focus on what feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring in more. And I think it's true because I think, right, you know, when you're feeling bad, you end up with like people that aren't so nice talking to you, or situations, you know, you'll end up seeing things you don't like seeing on Facebook, or you'll end up like listening to something you don't like. I don't mean the stuff you can control, I mean the stuff, you know, I mean, you could be scrolling through Facebook and find something you don't like. Whereas when you're not feeling, when you're feeling good, you're less likely to see it.
Well, yeah, you just scroll past it. It's sometimes it's still there, but you don't actually resonate with it.
Yeah.
But it's like when saying like, oh, a pink elephant, and you think about a pink elephant, you know?
You watch, we'll see pink elephants now on cars.
Yeah. Well, that's just an example, or a yellow door, you know? But yeah. I think with the secret shifters, I think find things that actually genuinely make you happy, because I think love is a tricky one, because sometimes, you know, if we're actually upset, like if we love someone but we're upset because it didn't go well, then you thinking about that person is going to be like, oh yeah, that moment with that person was so happy, but we're not together anymore. So it's like trying to relive something happy, but then actually then reminding yourself that it didn't work. So that doesn't help. But if it's, let's say you have a really good relationship with your grandma or something, and you always think about her and it brings you such joy, then that's like a good shifter, you know? That's a good choice. Like if I think about maybe, you know, a childhood friend or like my cousin or something, you know, then I can bring up, you know, happy feelings about what we've done, because there's no attachment to that person, in the sense that I love them unconditionally, and I don't, like, whatever happens, I'll love them. So it's not like, you know, there's no like emotional attachment in that sense. But I think sometimes with partners, it happens that we're like, we say we love them, but then there's this kind of attachment. So if we have a feeling that they're, I don't know, not giving us attention, we kind of then fall into the like, oh, you know, I'm not loved, or oh, I need to do more to receive that love and that validation, and then it becomes something completely different. It's like, that's not love anymore, that's like conditional, you know, that's you trying to get validation. So what I'm saying is, when you do choose your secret shifters, you want something that genuinely makes you happy, and not something that you want to make you happy, because it's not supposed to be an attack.
I also think as well, things that I think going on from what you say, is things that that make you happy, and it doesn't matter if someone else agrees with it or not. Well, I mean, as long as it's ethical, obviously, but I just mean, for instance, I think, like I was saying earlier, in some ways, like we think, our society, right, we might think we want a house. I'm not saying we want to live, well, some people want to live in I think you are quite interested in van life, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
like the idea of it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But some people might be like, oh, I want a house. And the reason, subconsciously, the reason why they want a house is because they think that's the thing to do. Or,
Yeah.
you know, I should be a doctor because that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
I think it's about choosing things, like even with on the shifters. I'm going to call them shape shifters. I'm thinking now of Star Trek.
Shapeshifters.
Not secret shapeshifters. Or
It's
call them
not like
secret
It's not like we're shape shifting though. It's more like a.
I know. I just thought, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find a.
Reason why we put it out there, we're changing the shape of our frequency.
True. Where manipulation is not a good. Well, it can work, but like manipulation usually has a negative connotation where it's like you're trying to, manipulate someone. Technically, we are manipulating because we're bending, reality, but it's still, I wouldn't use that word for me personally.
But no, I just think as well, just pick what makes you happy. Like, as they said, like as I was saying earlier with the cats, I do love them to bits, but it tends to be more when I'm on a good day. I love them, but when I'm on a bad day, all of a sudden it's like everything they do annoys me because I'm having to clean up after them and stuff,
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm having a bad day, they're like, but they're not. Then they'll come and cuddle me, and then it's like, then I feel gooey then for feeling annoyed with them.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the next page, and it's talking about love that we kind of were just talking about. So it says, there is no greater power.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so it says there is no greater power in the universe than the power of love. The feeling of love is the highest frequency you can emit. If you could wrap every thought in love, if you could love everything and everyone, your life would be transformed. In fact, some of the great thinkers of the past referred to the law of attraction as the law of love. And if you think about it, you will understand why. If you think unkind thoughts about someone else, you will experience those unkind thoughts manifested. You cannot harm another with your thoughts. You only harm you. If you think thoughts of love, guess who receives the benefits? You. So if your predominant state is love, the law of attraction or the law of love responds with the mightiest force because you are on the highest possible frequency. The greater the love you feel and emit, the greater the power of harnessing. So I just want to specifically say what I said earlier about, me kind of, when you see something in your relationship that isn't going well, but then you kind of know the secret. So it's like, oh, I don't want to focus on the negative things about us. You want to focus on the love. So you want to focus on the positive things about the relationship. But the problem is, it's almost like but then you're forcing yourself to think that positive. And so like you're trying to force to see something. Yeah.
And also sometimes, this is something I've learned, sometimes the relationship just ain't meant to be. And you're trying to make it be by being, I'm not saying there's someone else that I follow called Andrea Shulman, and she was saying, like, if you split with somebody, if you can, don't leave the relationship thinking of all the bad things that happen. Think of, oh, do you know what I mean? He had a nice smile, because you're more likely to attract people with a nice, you know what I mean? You're more, but that doesn't. Because I think sometimes, and I've done it myself, you almost think, that you can miraculously change things by being positive. I mean, it can happen like that. But also, I think what can happen too is, say you try and focus on someone's positives. I'm not, everyone's got positives, but if they're not actually showing in that vibration, they'll vibrate out. So see what I mean? Oh, this person's always nice to me, I enjoy their company.
Yeah.
If that's not actually a vibrational match for where you are, you'll vibrate out of it, they'll vibrate out your experience.
Yeah,
That's
so for me it was just important to like stop focusing on the other person, but focus on the
Yes,
love
that's on
towards
you.
myself. So that's
Yes.
why I wrote the 3 pages of what I love about myself, because it's not about the other person, it's about me, you know, like
Mhm.
because I guess by wanting to focus on the positive in, like, let's say a friendship, it means that I feel like there's some lack because I'm focusing on the
Yes.
negative, and then I'm trying to put positive, but the thing is it's still coming from an aspect of lacking love. So now I'm trying to force love into my life. So I'm like, I need to become love first. So I focus on myself, create that love within myself, so that whatever happens will be reflected to me then later.
And this is the thing also then, if they're meant to be in your life, or
Yeah.
they're meant to be in your experience, they will be.
Yeah. Sure. Awesome. What else? Because we're coming to the end now. So love. Yeah, I wish Tammy was here for the love part.
Thanks for staying on anyway. It's nice to better like finish the chapter. I know it's.
Yeah, no, I wanted to like involve myself in this, take the moment, because I'm kind of also procrastinating my line learning for acting. But I thought, you know, this is
I love it.
this is good though, because this allows me to reflect on myself. So some of the things I said I'm dealing with actually now, and as I said, writing that list out and everything. So it's kind of like reminding myself that, you know, so we have to talk about this. We have to remind ourselves and dive into this, to really practice it, to really like create it as a habit, as a lifestyle, you know. It's not like you read the book once and then you suddenly, oh, I'm happy, you know, I control my thoughts. If you come back to it, you understand more. You know, you find more things in the text that, you know, and we're putting our focus onto this. We're actually putting focus onto, you know, these things that, you know, it's all about our thoughts. So it's all about where we put our focus. And so if we're focusing on creating that lifestyle that we want, then we're engaging with this text. Like, obviously I could have been focusing on something completely different, but I feel like this is really beneficial to, you know, to our lives. So yeah.
But this is why I wanted to do this, because I thought even if none of us read anything else, at least once a week, we're getting together and reading this chapter.
I love how Tammy's part of it, because she's you know, quite new to it, and I can see how it's really like benefiting her life. So it's really nice to see her journey.
What did you do?
Summary now. I was thinking.
There's something I did want to read at the end.
Okay.
Here.
What page?
It's on 41.
Sure.
Bob Proctor, life could be absolutely phenomenal. And it should be. It will be when you start using The Secret. This is your life. It's been waiting for you to discover it. Up until now, you've maybe been thinking that life is hard and a struggle, and so by the law of attraction, you will have experienced life as hard and a struggle. Begin right now to shout to the universe, life is so easy, life is so good, all good things come to me. There is a truth deep down inside you that has been waiting for you to discover it. And the truth is, you deserve all good things life has to offer. You know that inherently, because you feel awful when you're experiencing the lack of good things. All good things are your birthright. You are the creator of you, and the law of attraction is your magnificent tool to create whatever you want in your life. Welcome to the magic of life and the magnificence of you.
Yeah, what I've been like, a sentence that I like using is, everything always works out for me. And I know my friend's like doesn't believe that, so he's like, well, I know it's like you think everything always works out for you, but it's not always like that. And he's like, oh, so I'm like, sure.
My fingers crossed. You don't know how it will. As in, well, what I mean by that is, right. Say for argument's sake, I don't know, say you had a job you didn't like and you left the job and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to you know what I mean? How am I going to live without this job?
Yeah.
And then like a couple of years down the line, you look back and you're like, do you know what? Leaving that job was the best thing that could have happened to me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's at the time, you're not going to know necessarily how it's working out for you, but you'll be able to look
Yeah.
back and be like, oh, wow, if I'd have stayed there, I wouldn't be where I am today, type of thing.
I love it. I love it. It's like everything always works out for me.
Same. I've got it in mind. No, because I like to do what they call, there's this, well, like what Tammy was saying about, you know, the day universe and dream day journaling, you know, journaling and scripting, you know, all that. Sometimes if I'm not in the right frame of mind, I'll still write something down. So I might write, I'm grateful everything's working out for me, you know, or something like that. I'm grateful life's getting better.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes with scripting and things like that, because I've fallen down on this, you know, sometimes you think you have to script for things to be absolutely amazing, and sometimes you're not in that frame of mind whereas if you're like a bit looser about it, and just like, I'm grateful things are working out, I'm grateful that things are getting better. Although I love what Abraham says about the better it gets, the better it gets.
Yeah, you gotta have fun I feel like we should do the book Ask and It Is Given as well by Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's definitely longer.
Do you want to do the whole thing, or do you just want to do the processes?
What do you mean processes? Oh, the section.
Is it not the same book, Ask and It Is Given, and then it has the processes? That is
Yeah,
the same
there
book.
were some. Yeah, I'm listening to the audiobook, but they do have like examples of like exercises and stuff. Is that what you mean?
The 22 processes. The one being meditation, and another one being Yeah,
we can do those. Yeah, I don't have the physical book. I'm only listening to the audio.
Because the audio for me, I don't know if it's the same for you on Audible, but it was like I got it off. It was like
I might have the PDF version, but I get frustrated with the PDF version because I like to have a physical book. Yes. I don't like scrolling and then forgetting what page I was reading on.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I find with the creative writing course, because they give a book, but something I like to do is perhaps like, you know, read in a bath or something. So I use my phone then, but they tend to have like the readings for the workbook are not in the same place. The readings are at the back. So you have to scroll through the whole thing to get to the readings at the back.
Yeah. I had some books. PDFs of books. Another book, You Can Heal Your Life, is really good. I've got that as well.
Yeah.
Like an actual book of that. And I've got Big Magic.
Yeah, I've got this book. I've got the Magic too, and I've got the Power. And also I've got the
You mean Big Magic, yeah?
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of The Secret Magic, the one that's...
Oh, no, I've got a book called A Big Magic, which is by Elizabeth Gilbert, and it's all about, like, being creative, but it's all about, like...
I tell you another book I've actually got, but I haven't actually read it for a while, but it's called Deliberate Receiving. Have you heard of that book?
No.
Are you okay for a moment while I show you it?
Yeah, you can show me, yeah.
I won't be a minute. I was
okay.
This one, I can't remember. Well, it's called Deliberately Receiving.
Nice.
And it's I'll read a bit. There's value in the floor, in the fog. Consider that reality is like a game. The best, most awesome, most advanced, most kick-ass my God, this person find out to read every bit. This one is the full immersion virtual reality game ever. Go ahead and geek out a little if you need to. I won't judge. When you play this game, you can create an avatar, a wee human, for example, that can experience this video game reality as real with feelings and stress and love and pain. Now consider that while playing this game, you have the chance to explore different aspects of your personality, of who you are, by placing yourself in different scenarios. I did not, I repeat, I did not get my gaming thing from here. Didn't even know she said it. Yeah, it's quite a good book. I mean, I haven't read it for a while. It's been in there.
I do need to go soon because I just realized I've got like another meeting because we want to test out Zoom. So we said we'd have a meeting tonight, but he didn't say what time. That's why I said I wasn't sure if I could make it because I wasn't sure what time he wanted the meeting. So he said he'll be free in like 30 minutes. So let's summarize The Secret then, the last bit of chapter 2. You want to read it out?
Yeah, the law of attraction. Well, I'll read one sentence, you read another, and
Okay, well, you do one point, I'll do the next point, and then we'll just keep switching.
Yeah.
Okay.
The law of attraction is the law of nature. It is impartial as impartial as the law of gravity.
Nothing can come into your experience unless you summon it through persistent thoughts.
To know what you're thinking, ask yourself how you are feeling. Emotions are valuable tools that instantly tell us what we've been thinking.
It is impossible to feel bad and at the same time have good thoughts.
Your thoughts determine your frequency, and your feelings tell you immediately what frequency you are on. When you feel bad, you are on the frequency of drawing more bad things. When you feel good, you are powerfully attracting more good things to you.
Secret shifters such as pleasant memories, nature, or your favorite music can change your feelings and shift your frequency in an instant.
The feeling of love is the highest frequency you can emit. The higher the greater the love you feel and emit, the greater the power you are enhancing.
Yes.
Beautiful. I mean, as I said, I'm not going to be here next week because I got that. Well, I'm going to see with timings because I want to start recording it, set Tammy up to be our co-host, and then leave, if you know what I mean. So I'll have to see what the timings of it. I'll make sure I still read it and watch the replay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Well, thank you for coming. I know it's been longer than the hour.
It's okay. I wanted to stay longer anyway, because like...
You won't have to do it yet. Now you do your lines.
Well, no, now I have the other meeting, so we're testing out Zoom, and then I have to do my line learning, basically, before bed. So, yeah, I've got another photo shoot tomorrow, so I'm going to prepare for that in the morning, what I'm going to wear, because I'm like, yeah. And then I've got another photo shoot the day after, and then I've got one on the weekend. And then I've got line learning for an acting class, basically. And then, oh yeah, I wanted to record another scene with a friend. I'm just gonna message her because she was supposed to be my reader, but because she lives in America, time zone's different, so I don't know what's happening. And
okay then, thank you.
No problem.
I'm gonna end the meeting. Bye.